I just discovered which AI is worth your money, and it's not what you think. I'm Ray Fernando, former Apple engineer of 12 years, and I put Grok 3 head-to-head against a $200 a month O1 Pro using my actual production app. If you're trying to decide which AI to invest in, I'll show you exactly which one builds better architecture plans, delivers more thorough results, and ultimately saves you development time and money. The difference shocked me, and it actually might change your entire workflow. My goal is to make the app get YouTube transcripts and index them on the cloud. Once I get the transcripts to them below. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead. I should also provide like what database I want to do this. I'm gonna go ahead and put these instructions into Grok into a new page and then paste them in here. And I'm gonna let the Grok 3 just cook. And so I should just do the thinking, which will make the model take its time. And this is what we're gonna compare against O1 Pro. So just gonna let it do its thinking here and let it cook. So it says thinking, it's doing a breakdown. And in this thinking window, basically what it's doing is actually showing us the full chain of reasoning, which is pretty amazing. So this is like still thinking, by the way. And it's even thinking about telling us what it's thinking about, which is super duper helpful. And to me, like, I'm really curious how this is also going to compare to something like DeepSeek, because I was using DeepSeek for reasoning, but DeepSeek does not have this large context window. Grok 3, huge amount of context, 1 million context window. DeepSeek like 64,000 or 128,000, depending on where you host it. And it still has thinking, but like, I feel like Grok 3, if it's as good as it says it is, and for the price, I think that these guys are gonna be just crushing it. So yeah, let's keep letting it think. And I'm gonna go over to ChatGPT while it's doing that task as well. So let's do O1 Pro. I'm going to paste this request in, and you see how repo prompts structured everything for us all nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit go. Let's go ahead. This is going to take a while for O1 Pro, by the way. I'm going to hit allow. If we hit a new one, we hit O3 mini high. Apparently this should be on par or better than O1 Pro, but we'll see. So the high one should return to us pretty quickly with whatever we need to do here. So I'm going to have this cooking on the side so that we can see and compare. So let's take a look here and see what Grok came up with, because it looks like Grok already finished, and we should be able to kind of see what's cooking. So that's what's up, fam. Dang. Wow. Okay. This is a massive plan from Grok. So it thought for 94 seconds with my entire code base and gave me this implementation. So this implementation outlines the necessary steps to enhance the existing React-based front-end application to fetch YouTube video transcripts, process them using an LLM with a specified system prompt, and index results in a cloud-hosted database. This is cool. So here's the schema it's giving me. So the database schema is what we'll use for a relational database via Supabase as a backend as a service. So that's pretty cool. The schema is designed to accommodate video metadata, transcription segments, themes, and additional metadata. So one of the cool advantages is the fact that I gave it my code base, right? And then I gave it my outcome of what I was actually an example from OpenAI. So right, we gave it the transcript, we gave it like the potential output. All of that information is very important for these LLMs so they can make these decisions to help guide you to make the schema. So the schema is the thing that's going to be stored in the database so they can go back and reference it. So by giving it all this context, we saw that like how Grok is actually using it for the planning stage. And that's really important to have for an architect to plan your code. And to me, like I'm trying to automate this stuff as much as possible. My goal is to eventually turn these LLMs into, a junior engineer. Look at that. We have the videos. So we have the tables here. We have videos with the fields. These are cool. So each video ID is going to be the primary key, which makes sense because each key is unique for the videos. But yeah, and then we have the transcript segments, which are really interesting. So these segments are going to be its own UUID as well. Okay, so this is a unique identifier for these segments, and it gives us a purpose. And then here's the themes as well. So it's going to generate themes across a specific video, which is awesome. And then segment themes. So what I can do is try to see if it can have, I'm going to have Grok to see if it can give me like a mermaid diagram to understand my data. So I'm going to go back to Grok. So that'd be really cool. So what this type of thing is, it's usually very helpful for us to visualize, because when you're looking at this kind of procedurally, going down, it can get confusing and stuff. And I think there's some apps to do this. I just need to look them up again. But here should be the whole mermaid diagram, or like an entity relationship. Let's take a look at OpenAI and just kind of see what they did here, just so we can kind of compare. So the OpenAI O3 mini high reason for 13 seconds. I don't necessarily look at the reasoning time per se for like judging the LLM. I look at more of the output. Obviously, if you have more GPUs and things, the reasoning time could actually be less. Services, actual code here to deal with error handling, for processing the transcripts, and then the steps, and then it has the output format. So should be a structured JSON with each element, including this cloud database schema. So it does go through the schema here. So you have a videos table, and here's the schema just in the raw SQL, and then the segments table here as well, which is pretty cool. And then we have integral and architectural considerations. So front end versus back end. So it does talk about that. It does understand that this is a React component app. And so we have like API endpoints to fetch the given types of things here. So we'll need like service layers so that both the back end and the front end can use them as well. And those service layers kind of act like a little gateway to the back end somewhere else. And so the back end would be like Cloudflare. It could be Supabase. It could be, in this case, I'm going to do mine in Convex. So that way I just hit the endpoint and it returns to the front end. And the VTAP is just really fast and just gets on the device. So that's the O3 mini high. Let's look at O1 Pro, because I feel like O1 Pro may be more thorough. I've had a lot of luck with O1 Pro, so that's kind of why I did both. O1 Pro takes longer, but you can see how the response here. So this one says it finished reasoning. It did a lot of stuff here for O1 Pro. And then it says high level architecture overview, backend as a service, database schema, front-end integration, step-by-step implementation, and then the location as well. So this is kind of telling us where the files are. And then here's a nice little database schema. I kind of like the way that O1 Pro organized this, to be honest. This looks really nice as far as like, the layout and stuff. So here's the column. It just, straight up gives you, here's what I'm doing, reasoning, potential impact. This could be an actual YouTube ID if unique in your app. Awesome. Transcript segments as well. And then backend service endpoints, kind of similar to the O3 mini high, but O1 Pro kind of fleshes it out a little bit more. Keep in mind, this is basically an architect prompt. So in the architect prompt, I'm not asking for the full code. I'm just asking for the architecture. You tend to get more code for the schema because that's like the most important thing, is like the data. As an architect, you're like, here's the exact data and here's how we're going to model it. That's usually the hardest parts of most apps, is just modeling your data and the relationships and trying to understand, how you're going to put that out in the world. So here's a pseudo example of an endpoint. So it even just kind of generated that for us for the O1 Pro, which the O3 mini did not do. It kind of tried, I think, but it's just using that as its reference. And then it's telling us how it's going to integrate with the front end as well, using this type of thing in an example edition. So to me, the O1 Pro is very thorough as far as how it's done its stuff. Security rate limits, file error handling. These are really good plans. And so this type of plan is something that we should just be able to dump right into Cursor and just let it cook, because it's a really detailed plan. It's kind of funny that we're doing all this work just to serve down the list, but that's the whole reason why we make apps, is to deliver some value. And so the value that I'm trying to deliver with my WikiTok front end is the fact that here's the elevator pitch. I have dyslexia, so it's really hard to read through like encyclopedias of books. Some people can do that, and that's an amazing gift. I wish I had that, but my learning speed is a lot faster with video, audio, and watching people do things. And so YouTube just so happens to be so rich and full of this content. And we have these amazing content creators and amazing innovators in the world that are doing this stuff in real time. AI moves so fast, week to week, new papers, new inventions, new innovations, that by the time it gets written into a book, published and get out to you, you're pretty far behind. Just got in what's better. So right now, let me give you the quick rankings. Yeah. So Grok 3, we're all we have been doing is architecting our plan using Grok 3. I fed it in about 11,000 tokens. And so Grok 3, O1 Pro, and O3 Mini, that's exact ranking. So Grok 3 at the top. As far as like thoroughness, comprehensiveness, a plan that I would actually use and we're going to be using here in production right now for my prototype. And then 2 is like O1 Pro. It took longer but I felt like it was the detail for the architecture plan was much more reliable. And then we had O3 Mini generate as well, but it just kind of fell off really fast. It's like, here is some good structure. So I feel like it generated enough of the architecture plan, but just failed to go deep in the details. Where Grok, not only did it give us all that big architecture like tent poles, but it went pretty deep in terms of details for each of those tent pole descriptions. So that's kind of the way that I would rank the three. Definitely Grok 3 going forward. That's going to be my main bay. Unfortunately, it's only available on the web, so there's no API for it right now for Grok 3, the thinking mode. So the thinking mode that did the reasoning type of stuff. So we're basically comparing the reasoning models all across the board. And by the way, this wasn't a large app. It was 11,000 tokens. Like all of it can be fit pretty small. All of these LLMs can take that in the context window. So it's not like we had such a large context window where it's falling off on the other, it's not even over 100K tokens. Like it's pretty small. You won't believe how fast AI is changing, and that's why I break down the most important updates every single week. No fluff, just what matters in your life. I'm Ray Fernando, and this channel is where AI meets real life. Share your thoughts below because I read every single comment to pick the topics for next week. And make sure you hit that subscribe button because next week we got something even bigger. See you in the live streams.